Welcome, everyone. Tony Martinez here. So happy that you can join us today. Today is August 12th. Today is session 1 of 4 of this new series that we're launching called the Lazarus Coaching Series. And if you're wondering why the term Lazarus, just read the Bible. And Lazarus was raised from the dead. And I started thinking that's a lot of agents' careers right about right now. So either dead on arrival, on life support, in the hospice, you name it. There's a lot of us that just are in need of just a miracle or two or three. So maybe this session, maybe this series will do it. Maybe it won't. We're just going to go ahead and do the best we can. But I do want to start by thanking all of you for making the commitment. I was just surprised, we have almost 150 members and you put team members and you put the word out there and you say, look, we're going to do this. And you would think that you're going to be flooded. And the answer is really no, it's not the case. We're seeing a huge drop off in participation in all types of classes all across the country. It's not just Xtreme, it's not an LPT thing, it's on everybody thing right now. It is a tough time for us. So I want to thank you for being here. Before we launch into the content, just some housekeeping. These are 2-hour sessions. They will go by faster than you can imagine. Anytime I put on one of these, I'm always scrambling to get the content in before it's done, to make sure that we make the best use of it. We want to start on time. Today we started 2 or 3 minutes after. One could argue that's not too bad. Well, I like to start right at that time because those extra 2 or 3 minutes, they add up. So please, for the subsequent sessions, go ahead and be on time. For those of you that were, thank you. I'm going to have a different Zoom link for each session. And the reason is I want to keep you on your toes and I want you to continue monitoring the special group chat that we created, because that's where a lot of questions and information is going to be shared. And if you're only occasionally visiting it, it takes away from the process. I'm sure right now, if I were to open up my email, there would be an email or a text from someone saying, where's the Zoom link? Like I said from the very beginning, was going to be posted here. So I am that tough love person. Some people, maybe most people, understand where I'm coming from. Some take offense to it. I'm too old to care. I'm just telling it like it is. What else? I guess I don't have to tell you where the restrooms are. No, we're not going to take any breaks. We're going to go right through. Again, we're going to try to get this content in. We're right back tomorrow, and then we're going to do it again next week. The last time I did this was in March. I did a March Madness deal, and we spread that out over 5 weeks. I felt that I like the idea because you think, hey, man, you have 1 week in between sessions to implement strategies and homework and everything. But it's just as we got later and later into the year, I just couldn't carve out 5 weeks that I could commit to this. So I says, let me just try to knock it out over 2 weeks. So we're going to be condensing it, and we're going to be compressing a lot of information into a short window of time. But it's not about what you can do during these 2 weeks. It's what are you going to do beyond the 2 weeks? We got to set you up to continue doing this ongoing. This is not just something you do during this portion. It's a lifestyle. It's a whole new change in your perspective on how you do things. There are no dumb questions. We have folks here ranging from folks that are so new that the ink is still wet on their license. And we have some folks here that have been in the business for a while. Speaking of which, we do have some dignitaries that I want to go ahead and showcase here. Number one, I got my good friend Troy Sage from Dallas, not Dallas, maybe Dallas area. I don't know. I know it's Texas area. Troy and I go back 15, 16 years, all the way back to with the CDP days. Troy was an instructor. I had the pleasure of kind of teaching him to get ready to teach the CDP. He's an amazing short sale practitioner, an amazing agent, an amazing human being. And he is incredible when it comes to social media, especially YouTube. I have asked him to share some of this knowledge next week during session 3, and he has been gracious enough to consent to it. So you guys are in for a treat. where he's going to show you how you can lead generate by using, in particular, YouTube. We have, I think, a contingent here from South Carolina and North Carolina. Got my good friends, Kinsley and Preston, and the group up there. I opened it up to them. They're part of my organization within LPT. So if you're here from that area, welcome. I make sure that I have your contact information because I just see phone numbers that pop up in the chat area. So I do need your name, phone number, and email address so I can make sure that you are receiving all of the information. And I want to thank Moody. I want to thank Moody for going ahead and signing up again. He went through the March Madness. And of all the folks that went through the March Madness class, he's the only one that said, I want another dose. And it means a lot to me because top producers, they all share a lot of common traits. And one of them is they can't get enough training. It's amazing. You'll have folks with the lowest production not attend a class. And then you'll have folks that are just killing it, doing 50, 100 million, $200 million a year. And they're at every single class they can get their hands on. It's amazing. I remember when I was launching the March Madness, one of our veteran agents wrote to me saying, what are you going to be covering? And I was offended by the question because in my mind, what do you care? It's going to be good. If your team leader is willing to take time out of his schedule to train you, I could be speaking on basket weaving and you should be on the edge of your seat. So don't ever ask, what are you going to cover? Trust me, you learn at every single event that you attend. And if everyone ever implemented everything that was ever taught at a class, you would see production numbers like you've never seen before. Unfortunately, we forget 2/3 of what is covered by the end of the session. So you always need to have these refreshers. Okay, now I needed this training session like I needed a hole in my head. I have so much going on. It has been a crazy couple of months, and now it's going to be a crazy last few months of the year. And I just say to myself, why do I do this? Well, you know what? I'm a man of faith, and I believe that God puts these ideas in my head. And I said, Tony, you know what? Sometimes you just got to put in the extra effort. So that's why I'm committing time out of my schedule, 8 hours in the evening, so that I can hopefully convey to you folks some information that can make a difference. Would you agree with this, that the struggle is real? Raise your hand if you say that the struggle is absolutely real. Yep. And you know what it is? It started back in, I would say, 2022. We started feeling the effects. 2020 and 2021, 20 and 30 years from now, you're going to have people going, do you remember 2021? Man, I heard that people were selling. Yeah, it's going to go down in the history books as a market that we never saw before and we probably will never see again. But we started seeing a back to reality in 2022, and then 23 and 2024 was horrific. And here's the good news. 2025 is going to be worse. How is that good news? I have no idea. But, you know, where we barely went over 4 million units sold last year, if there's no change in the interest rates this year, we're going to close out this year with under 4 million units sold. Now, the volume or lack thereof last year was the lowest point since 1975. Just to put in perspective how difficult the market has been and will continue to be. Folks, just because, let's just say by some miracle, the interest rates drop, and they're supposed to. I mean, they said that 2 rate drops are expected between now and the end of the year. Are you going to bet on that? Are you going to go to sleep thinking that's going to actually happen? No, it's too many factors up. But even if it were to change, you know, real estate is like trying to turn the Titanic. We all know how well that happened, right? It takes time to execute these things. But this is the reality. If you're in the 29% of folks that actually had a closing last year, God bless you. And you know what? You all should post that. That might be the very first post you do right after today's session. And let me give you some advice. Don't do it like, do you know that 71% of the suckers out there didn't make no money? No, I wouldn't go that route. I would probably go the route of, you know what, in a challenging market and a difficult market, I'm very proud, I'm blessed to be among the select 29% of real estate professional that's actually doing business. You know, isn't that who you want to work with? And so these are all opportunities for you to go ahead and separate yourself from the pack. Chaotic times because we're also dealing with all of the changes that NAR imposed on us. And a lot of agents have retired early because of it. A lot of agents retired without expecting to retire because the combination of, you know what, the low production, the NAR imposing all of these different restrictions. Now we have forms for the other forms. It's insane. People are like, how many forms do we have to? A lot, you know? And then, you know, as we do this for our area here, not other areas of the state necessarily or the country, we're going into board renewal time. So now the MLS, the board wants their money. It's amazing. They don't really care how little you produced the year before. They still want their money. And there are going to be a lot of agents that are not going to be able to do that. And if that's you, I hope that maybe, just maybe, we can do something about it with this series. But leaving the business is never an option. The worst thing that should ever happen is that you pull back and become part of our LPT referral network. At least be part of the referral network so that you can legally earn commission just by sending somebody a referral. Now, it doesn't equal the amount of money you make as a true agent, but it's better than nothing. And you know what people have done usually when they go into the referral network? At that point, they're just kind of like sitting there, you know, waiting for something to happen. They're not paying the board and everything else. But maybe a lead pops up, a seller comes out of nowhere, a strong buyer comes out of nowhere. And you know what agents typically do in that scenario? Instead of handing the referral over, they activate their license again. And now they're using that. So I'm okay taking a step back to take 3 forward. Okay, but leaving the business should not even be an option. Okay, and if you need any more information on that, you all let me know. And I did a short video on kind of how the referral network works, so I can share that with you all. And it's opened up a lot of eyes to people that just didn't even know that that option even existed. All right, so we're going to get into the survey responses. I appreciate everyone that is part of the Xtreme by LPT. Went ahead and sent in the survey responses. You know, I want to know what you need. I want to know what you're up against. You know, otherwise I may be teaching in the wrong area. So thank you for having done that. Before we get into that, let me pause very quickly. Do we have any questions or comments on anything? I know it was kind of like a preamble. I was just kind of doing the monologuing right now, but any questions or comments right now before we get into the survey responses?
I have a question.
Go for it.
Being new to all this and listening to what you're saying, my question is, I don't have a huge network base,
Yeah.
but the amount of people that I've come in contact with, as I work with several families that are wealthy.
Okay.
What advice would you give me on how to,
Increase your production, all that stuff?
right?
Yeah, write this down. Write this down. Ready? Marry one of the folks in that family.
What?
Okay. All right.
Serious?
Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry, because if Maud were to hear that, she'll come after me, and she's much stronger than me.
Bro, she's she didn't hear it.
Okay, so maybe, but you know what? There's at least one person on the call that's gonna go, wait a minute, I never thought of that, you know. But I feel you, brother. Look, your situation is the same as probably 10 other people on this call. We're gonna cover that.
Okay.
Sometimes there are folks that come into this business with a huge Rolodex of names and numbers. And for you young folks, you don't even know what a Rolodex is. But, others, you may be new to the area, new to the state, new to everything, right? And you're starting from scratch. All right. So you have more of an uphill battle. But there's this thing called social media right now that's the great equalizer. So, that's one of the things we're going to be talking about hot and heavy over these 4 sessions. Okay. So let's get on to the responses. So one of the questions was, what does success in real estate mean to you? And our founder, Robert Palmer, has been really impressing this message to not just leaders and team leaders, but everyone, that be very careful about being judgmental. And I was falling into that judgmental stage because for me, I was feeling that everybody that's licensed should be chewing steel and spitting nails. We should be out there setting the world on fire. And Robert put it very succinctly. You know what? Your definition of success could be very different from somebody else's. And that's why we need to make sure that you're being true to yourself. Above all else, that thy own self be true. What is success to you? Now, look at the way it broke down. I went ahead and put, is it 1 to 5 closings per year? And you could see that it's a tiny there, but you know what? Maybe 1 or 2 of you, that's it. You understand that this isn't the 70s anymore, where closings are $30,000 and $40,000 or $100,000. One closing right now could be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 commission. That can make a huge difference in a family. I mean, that can pay off a car, that could pay, tuition, that could pay off debt, that could keep the lights on and the roof over your head. So who am I to say, why the hell don't you want more than 1 or 5 to 3 or more? It's what was important to you. Notice the percentage, almost 18% is 5 to 10, an identical amount in 10 to 20. Now, look, let me tell you something. 1 to 5, very doable. 5 to 10 starts to get a little tough when you stop and think only 29% of realtors last year had any closings at all, and the vast majority didn't have more than 5. Yeah, it gets tough. 10 to 20, you're a multi-million-dollar producer at this point. Okay. You get to 20 closings or more, you're probably knocking down about 200K a year or more, depending upon the area you're in. Now, there's wishing and there's realistic. Okay. So you might say, well, success to me is 20 closings a year and you're 1 week into business. Well, you know what? It might take you 5 years to get to 20 closings per year or more. It's relative. Now, if you are at 10 closings a year and you want to get to 15, I got you. If you're at 10 to 12 to 15, you want to get to 20, let's do it. If you're just starting out right now and your only definition of success is 20 plus, you need to look in the mirror and start over again, because that's just not reality. We all want things. I wanted to be 6'2". I'm 5'8" on a good day. And that's in the morning when I wake up because I've been stretching. You know what I'm saying? So aside from that, I don't even make it to 5'8". So let's get really realistic with our goal setting, because you don't want to be your own worst enemy. God forbid you go out there and do 5 closings in your first year. You're going to be disappointed. Again, it's relative to, are you the only one paying the bills in your home? Is yours, is this a side gig for you? I got folks that, I got 2 agents that consistently are part-time agents, and they both consistently make $100,000 a year in real estate, apart from their full-time gig. Why? Because they know how to use technology. They're hustlers. They work. They make the best use of their lunch hour, their breaks. They don't make excuses. They make money. But this is the breakdown right now. Next, how often do you monitor our team WhatsApp chats? Thankfully, the vast majority, 88%, is daily. Now, you have a smidgen weekly or not at all. I don't want names. Notice I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but let me make it very clear. Weekly, not at all, unacceptable. Unacceptable. We have the WhatsApp groups there to support you. We've had agents that have moved to our team from other companies and have stated that in 15 minutes, they received more training just being in that group and watching the exchanges than they received at their company in months. It's that valuable. Deals are saved, careers are saved, you name it, because we have an incredible group. Most of the agents at Xtreme, they started right out of real estate school. Somebody helped them, so now they're paying it forward. So now, I understand life gets in the way and it can get too much. I'm not going to scream at anybody because they skip one day. My goodness, I know, I get it. But if you are treating this like, hey, you know what, it's been a week or two, let me go see what's happening, then you're a situational realtor. Let me tell you what a situational realtor is. They only pay attention to the business when they have a lead. In other words, when they don't have a lead, they're not prospecting, they're not going to school, they're not reviewing, they're not practicing their scripts, they're not doing any of this. They're on Facebook, on vacation, doing all this stuff like that. Then a lead pops up, and guess what? They know nothing. They don't know where they can find the forms. They don't know where this is. They don't know where that is. They don't know there's a new change to this and that. And then they start burdening everybody by posting in the chat things that everyone should already know. So please, especially the one that we created for this coaching, be religious about being on there all the time. I may surprise you with something. I may put an incentive in there for anybody that responds within a certain period of time. Might we get a little bonus item from me? I'm going to keep you guessing. So next, are you familiar with what LPT Realty offers? And it was like zero, what's LPT? And then all the way up to yeah, I'm really, really familiar with it. And I think, wasn't there a fifth category there? Yeah. So no fives. So most of the people are in here. Okay, that's an opportunity. That is a great opportunity because here's the thing. LPT offers a lot. They have to. Why else do you think Gabi and I would have left? Well, why do you think we would have shut down our very successful independent brokerage to merge with a company that would offer less than what we offered? No. There's some amazing tools and resources that we're not taking advantage of. A lot of people are not taking advantage of. So in these 4 sessions, I'm going to squeeze in some time to go ahead and highlight some things that some people don't even know is there that can make a huge difference. But you need to go on to Connect 2.0. All of us, that's our dashboard. You should be on Connect. In other words, Connect should be an open window for you in a browser all the time. Because that's where you go get your dot loop. That's where you can go into the support area to write a ticket. That's where you go into the knowledge base to get additional access. That's when you go into main stage to get access to the videos and everything else. You have to be able to do that. Now, what I see here is opportunity for me to go ahead and say, by the way, did you know you get this? Did you know you get this? Did you know you get this? And if I can just go ahead and by the end of these 4 sessions, get the bulk of you to be all the way over here to 4 and 5, I think that's going to be wonderful because the resources are amazing. Next, how interested are you in LPT's revenue share program? 5 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. Okay, the good news is not one person put not interested at all, because to not be interested at all worries me. Now, does it mean that it's something you'll want to participate in? I don't know. But shouldn't you know enough about it to make an informed, intelligent decision? And I think that the answer should be yes. So here's the thing. This is not the time and place to do that. And these 4 sessions that we're doing together may not be that. I've done separate videos on those, and I'm happy to share those with everyone. But suffice to say that if you're interested in the revenue share, you have to be on the 80-20 plan with LPT. LPT has 2 commission programs. Now, The two commission programs with LPT have nothing to do with the split you have with Team Xtreme. Okay. I recently brought on somebody new that was not sponsored by me. I'm not going to mention any names, was not sponsored by me, but reached out to me to join our team. And when I was sat down with this individual and I explained what our team offers and what we ask in return, I found out that this person was on the 80-20 plan with LPT. And I really felt that they were not, that wasn't the best program for them. And I encourage that person to change over to the 100% plan because it wasn't the right time or plan for them. I've always made myself available to anybody on our team that is thinking about graduating, upgrading to the revenue share program to sit with me first so I can hear you out and I can explain the pros and the cons, and then you make an intelligent decision. Fair enough? So that's available anytime because it is confusing. Yes, I am on the 80-20 plan along with Gabi. We share one seat. As team leaders, we are required to be in the 80-20. Our cap is $15,000. We're going to cap in the first month and a half, 2 months, maybe. Now, because we're on the 80-20 and because of the revenue share, we can earn residuals. We can earn on sales all the way to the 7th level. So that is a high motivation for us. It works for us. It does not work for everyone. And that is why I like to have those kind of one-on-ones, because I know enough about the programs now that I can explain how they work and you decide if the time is right for you or not. Fair enough? You guys understand that part of it? Okay. Last but not least, how interested are you in LPT stock award program? Now, this is good. The vast majority of you are interested in it. Okay. All right. So let me say it this way. We are currently a private company. LPT Realty is a privately owned company, right? The company's plans are to go public. I hope that all of you are following along by attending Motivational Monday. And if you can't be there because you work or something, that you're watching the videos, because that's when the founder and the executive vice president, Matt Hodge, share a lot of great information. And just last week, it was shared that our ticker symbol, the ticker symbol has been reserved for NASDAQ. The goal for LPT Holdings, Holdings, is to go public probably the first quarter of next year. The ticker symbol, the letters that are going to represent our stock are going to be LPTA. LPTA. What is going to go public for? I don't know. The exact date, I don't know. So there's a lot we don't know, and there's a lot they can't tell us because either we're in or entering in a very quiet period just before you go with the IPO, where a lot of information cannot be shared. RP has met and continues to meet with bankers, top tier bankers. There's a lot of people very interested in our company, given everything that we've accomplished, and I'm excited for it. Here's the great news. If you're LPT, regardless of which plan you're on the 100% plan, which is called the Business Builder, or you're on the 80-20 plan, which is called the Business Partner, you both earn shares. Now, business partners earn double the number of shares that business builders do. One example, on your first closing, you have the opportunity to earn up to 100 shares. But if you're a business builder, 100%, you can earn 50. If you're at 80-20, you can earn the full 100. And then you can earn shares when you close your 3rd, your 15th, and your 35th. And that recycles every time you have an anniversary. I'm not going to go beyond that. There's all kind of information that you can retrieve and I'm happy to answer questions on that. But yeah, I'm excited because every month after the 18th, I go into Connect, I go into the tile that says Performance Awards, and I get to monitor how many shares we've earned. Now, those are going to be shares of LPTA when the time comes that we go public. Okay. Now, there are some folks that are motivated to earn more shares, and that's the reason why they took the 80-20 model. They see it as a way of accumulating more shares. Everyone has different motivations and everything else, but everyone within an LPT has the opportunity to earn shares, regardless of which of the two plans you are on. Are there any questions about the survey we talked about so far? We're not done, but I just want to pause for a second to see if there's any quick questions. And if I feel it's something that's best answered off, this chat, or by me sending you a video of how I've broken down the explanation before, I'll let you know. Anyone, someone, Bueller, anybody?
One question, you said business builder. What was was it 100 or was it half?
Yeah, you're on the business builder, so you are on the 100% plan with LPT.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then you have a separate agreement with the team.
Correct.
Okay. But you are on what is called the business builder or the 100% model. And that means that LPT will charge you 500 plus 195 on a transaction. Okay.
Okay.
And then you have the opportunity to pass all or some of that charge on to the customer in the form of a transaction or brokerage fee.
Okay, thank you.
And beyond that, those are questions that can be addressed to your mentor,
Okay.
to us, or something else, but not necessarily. I don't want to turn this into a Q&A about things that can be taught apart from that. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Now, what's the biggest challenge or challenges you are facing in the business? Listings. Okay. That's one of them. So here's the thing. I think we have an unfair advantage when it comes to taking listings. Why? Because we have the listing power packs. There's nothing like it on the market. You could be a brand new agent and you could walk into a presentation, never ever taken a listing before, and you walk in with your sample power pack and you sit down with them and you explain to them, and once they list with you, you're going to put into work this incredible active marketing plan that's going to be comprised of 188 pieces of full color glossy materials. And I think you stand a better and average chance of taking that listing. So here's what I want you to do. Number one, did you ever order your sample pack? And if you haven't, shame on you. Because you can't go into a listing presentation and say, hey, folks, imagine if I had walked in with a power pack. Imagine what it would look like. Wouldn't it be cool? No, you have to physically have it with you. So those are the ones that it's a power pack. You go into the marketing section of LPT Connect. I think it's $99. You order it. It's going to have your contact information on there. Now you got your sample pack. Now, I have been teaching a class called the Ultimate Listing Presentation. And last month, maybe the month before, I finally did it via Zoom. And some of you have attended it live, and some of you actually caught the Zoom. Here's the thing. Watch that one. Janetto shared the link. It's on our YouTube channel. If you've never seen it, watch it. If you've seen it, watch it 10 more times, because I'm walking you through exactly how to do the listing presentation from before you even get to the house. It starts with taking the appointments and the 5 touches after taking the appointment to what do you do when you're standing outside the door? What do you do when you first walk in the door? What do you do from there on? It's there. It's golden. And I also incorporate how to use the materials from the listing power pack in there. It is amazing. And you have this resource available, and a lot of agents do not. So make sure. So what I want to do in these 4 weeks, when it comes to talking about listings, I want to deal with some of the issues you're having as far as objections, um, challenges to your commission and everything else. That I want to deal with. I don't want to deal with the mechanics of doing a listing presentation because you have the video that you can watch over and over again. Are we good? Okay. Now, my biggest challenge has been balancing the immediate demands of clients with the long-term business building activity. I may need a cup of coffee. I have a cup of coffee. Instruction my skill. Well, you know what? It sounds like life is something that is in a way. And yeah, we're going to talk about time blocking today. And we're going to talk about measuring your activities to see, are you really spending the time you need in the business? Okay. Prospecting. I'm interested in a specific niche, farming my area, becoming a listing agent. Inc. I want to become laser focused. Absolutely. I'm a big believer in niches. I have a class called Riches in Niches. I have that video as well. Why do you think I own the CDPE? Because it's an amazing niche. Pre-foreclosures. Why do you think I purchased the military residential specialist class? And I'm going to be introducing it next month because working with veterans and working with active military is an amazing niche. And you know what, folks, when you're first starting out and nobody knows you from anything, having some initials behind your name lends some credibility to you. So I think all of you have the power to be a CDPE and a MilRes immediately. Some of you may want to be a VIP. Some of you probably want to be an SOB. I don't know. I don't know what it's all about. I've been called all of them. So at the end, some initials can matter. And my folks, my Xtreme agents, you guys get unbelievable pricing. I'll give you an example. My CDP goes for $4.99. If you're LPT, you get it for $2.99. If you're Xtreme, you get it for $1.99. So these are all things that Jeanette can answer more questions on. So ask her about those things. Staying consistent, I get it. But that's going to help if you're time blocking and you have a plan. Is the time and training. I will need a lot of support in the beginning. Well, the support is there. I've never seen a team. I mean, when even Robert Palmer has said, Tony, yours and Gabi's value proposition is you and Gabi. People join Xtreme because of me, and they stay because of Gabi. And there are a lot of you right now that will go ahead and say amen. Because you know that when you have a question or an issue, you know I'm not the guy to call, right? How much patience do I have? None. How much availability do I have? Take a wild guess. So who's the one that knows more about everything than anything? It's Gabi. Gabi's 10 times the realtor that I am. I bow in her presence. So I'm the guy that can kick you in the butt. I'm the guy that can teach you a lot. But no, minutia, not me. And that's why Gabi and I are a power couple, because we play off each other so well. Okay. But you got to devote the time. Now, you explain to me how I can put an evening class together for realtors, and the vast majority of them don't show up. Okay. The other day, one of our agents said, when are you doing it in Spanish? My answer was essentially never again. Because the last time I did a class in Spanish, hardly anybody showed up. Why would I go ahead and do that? No, not me. There's a biblical verse that talks about not casting your pearls before swine. What does that mean? Never, ever give away anything to people that don't appreciate what you're offering. We offer the training. LPT offers the training. The agent has to make themselves available to take it. And so much of it is recorded. I mean, I get it. I may do a Zoom when you can't be on the Zoom. I get it. But what do I do with the Zoom? I put it on our YouTube channel and we share the link. What excuse is there to not watch it later? Okay. Balance being a full-time student, being an agent. Oh yeah, it's tough. But like I mentioned before, we have 2 agents that are part-time real estate agents that earn $100K a year. So they can do it. Why not you? Okay. Biggest challenges, rebuttals. That's what we're going to talk about. That's when I talk about listings and when we talk about buyers, we're going to spend more time on buyers. You know why? It's a buyer's market now. And it's going to continue to be a buyer's market now for the foreseeable future. So if you want to make some serious money, Listings, we always say listings, you list to last, but you gotta be working with buyers now. And guess what? Buyers know that they have options. Buyers are more finicky and picky now. Buyers know that they are required to sign something. Buyers know that they don't want to sign anything. So we got to help you with some dialogue and how to overcome objections. Learning everything I can. I'm new to real estate. Here's the advantage to you being new to real estate. You haven't made any mistakes. You haven't made any mistakes. And the other thing about being new to real estate is you should have no bad habits. One of the toughest things is when we bring agents over that think they know what they're doing is they don't. A lot of agents have very, very, very poor training behind them. The ethics aren't there. The professionalism isn't there. And those usually don't last at Xtreme very long. So it's not don't look at it like, oh, I have a liability. I'm brand new. No, you're smart enough to have joined LPT, and you're even smarter because you joined Xtreme by LPT. You're in a good place. Not enough time in a day to get all my tasks done. Well, listen, homeless people and billionaires have the same number of hours in a day. You tell me. We're going to talk about that today because we all have 24 hours. It's just amazing what some people can do with that time, and some people drown in a glass of water. So, no sympathy from me, folks. That's the other reason why people don't come to me with their problems. I ain't Oprah. I ain't Dr. Phil. I ain't got a shoulder to cry on. No, 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 no. I'm a results person. You come to me with a challenge, I'm going to spend my time talking about how to overcome it, not commiserating with you. Oh, yeah, I know it's tough. Yeah, yeah. Listen, let's sit down and let's have a cry fest. Okay. You use these tissues, I'll use mine. No, 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 no. We got to deal with it. Dealing with my boss. God, I hope that's not me. I hope you're talking about somebody else, right? Finding qualified buyers. Welcome to real estate. Buyers are liars. And that's why when we work with buyers, everything begins with the buyer consultation. You have to put on a buyer consultation. Here's the way we say it now. You now have to list buyers. And LPT has an amazing home buyer strategy workbook. We have a home buyer workbook. In fact, there is a class called the Ultimate Buyer Presentation that I may be able to squeeze in these 4 sessions. So yeah, we have the marketing paraphernalia and we got the tools for you to be above the rest when it comes to impressing buyers enough that the buyers want to work with you and you only. Okay. Learning the computer programs, not happening here. This is not that kind of class. In fact, when you say computer programs, if you're talking about Word and Excel and all, first of all, you can make $1 billion in real estate and never use Excel, ever use Excel. Okay. You need Word, maybe. PowerPoint, maybe. Okay. You need to use email religiously. You need to know your MLS inside and out. You need to know your paperwork platform, whether it's Dotloop or something else, you need that inside out. But if you're talking about the most basic Word, all that kind of stuff, those are community colleges. That's YouTube. And you got everything at the tip of your fingers right there with YouTube. And then within LPT, every single week, they have classes on Dotloop. Every single week, they have classes on Lofty. They have all these things. And if you miss one of those, they got 1 billion recordings. So there's no reason for you not to have access to that. But that would be redundant for me to go into all that stuff when you have access to it there. Technology and social media. Well, social media is something that LPT covers as well, but we are going to talk about it here. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, Troy is going to be talking about how he does an exceptional job of promoting himself through YouTube. That's going to be a real treat. Getting listings without prior experience. I touched on that already. If you watched my video on the ultimate listing presentation and you walk in with your LPT power pack, you may be green as a day is long and they're not going to know. Okay. Because it's all about how you carry yourself. Okay. If someone were to ask you, how long have you been in the business? My response is, you know what? Real estate's been in my blood since I can ever remember. You think I'm going to say 13 days if you count today? Hell's no. They're going to say, how long have you been in real estate? I go, well, real estate is in my blood. Okay. Um, so how much experience you have? I go, well, you know what? As you can tell by looking at me, I'm not the oldest guy that's probably going to be sitting in front of you. And that's why I joined the company and the team that I joined, because collectively at Xtreme, we have hundreds of years of experience to draw on and draw from. So I didn't walk in here alone, folks. I have an entire team behind me to support me and help you achieve your goals. See, that's what I'm talking about. You should never be stumped. You know how I make money? I learned from Floyd Wickman, the greatest dialogue coach of all time. Know what to say, know when to say it, and know how to say it. When to say it, how to say it, and when to say it. And then you say it to enough people. I don't believe that we as real estate professionals should ever be stumped. If you're stumped, it's because you didn't practice your objection handling, because they're all the same objections now that they were 20 years ago. The only new objection I've heard in the last 20 years plus that I've been in the business is I don't want anybody in my house because of the pandemic. That was the only new one that we ever heard. Everything else, in fact, there's not a single coach in real estate that has created anything new. Everything in real estate is regurgitated. It's kind of like they take a script and they just put a different spin on it and then they give it to you. So in the old days, we had to stand in line for hours to spend $500 on a set of cassette tapes. Now you go on YouTube for free and you have the entire library of all the collective knowledge ever in real estate at your disposal. No excuses. Okay. Not selling myself in order to get clients. Well, let me see if I can understand this. If you are a secret agent, that's bad. If nobody knows what you do for a living because you don't wear a name badge, you don't have car door signs, you don't do any social. I had to kick some of your butts to put you on social media today. And it's like, okay, now you're on social media. What are you gonna do with it? So you need to start selling yourself. Yeah. And you know what? Every opportunity you talk to see, understand something. We don't sell soap. Okay, we're not trying to get someone to use our perfume, our lotions, our potions, our detergents, or anything else. We are in the business of selling houses, right? People love that. People need shelter. Whether they're going to rent or buy or invest, they need shelter. We are a known, important value person. AI ain't taking our place. Look at the long list of careers that are going to be replaced with AI. I don't think we're in that league at all. But you have to feel confident about discussing. If somebody were to come to you right now and say, how's real estate? And your response is, how dare you respond like that? If someone were to ask you, how's the market? I go, you know what? The market is complex. The market is unique. Man, the market is evolving. Man, the market, the dynamics, I haven't seen this in a while. Why do you ask? And then you initiate the conversation from there. AI lead automation of social media. Do you know that if you have Lofty, okay, which is our CRM. Now, for you guys that were part of Xtreme when we first moved over, we got a special deal where our agents were able to get Lofty without the $99 activation fee. Anybody after that, you pay one time $99 activation fee and nothing monthly, nothing. You get the CRM, which is the client relationship manager. Every single agent needs to have a CRM. And it also comes with a public facing website. Yes, website. I've had agents that cancel their websites once they get the Lofty one going, and they save 30, 40, 50 bucks a month because they don't have to pay hosting anymore. You know what else the Lofty website comes with? Our app. We have an amazing app, mobile app that you can share with consumers. And you have access to that app when you have access to Lofty. So the question is, do you have Lofty? And if you don't, why don't you? So that becomes part of your homework assignment at the very top of the list. Activate Lofty. Now, not included in Lofty, it's an extra upgrade, is AI. I'm going to see if between now and next week on one of these sessions, I can get Gabi to showcase her website, because she paid the extra amount to have AI on her site. And guess what? When a lead inquires, the AI interacts with them until the point where they're ready to talk to Gabi or set up an appointment. So you have all that at your disposal for a very minimum cost. But before you get to the AI stage, you got to get to the website stage. Before you get to the website stage, you got to activate Lofty. And if you do have it activated, you got to get in and watch every Lofty training video you can get your hands on. Okay. Making sure that I complete all paperwork correctly. Yes. Become a dot loop specialist. Dot loop is where we create our contracts and where we share everything with corporate for compliance. We have had multiple issues with our agents not doing the proper job with the paperwork, waiting until the last moment, and then here they are a day before closing or the day of closing, and they want to get paid at closing or shortly thereafter, and they're nowhere near achieving that because they have not submitted everything to compliance. We did a very special training about a month ago, put on by Gabi. It was amazing. And we even had Natalie Cox be there as well, which is the state broker. There's dot loop classes every other day. There's state-specific classes that the Florida brokers put on and the other state brokers put on all the time. But if you haven't seen Gabi's class about dot loop and how to submit the commissions and all that, we got to get your hands on that. Jeanette can find it and we will share it, not just in this Zoom chat, but on our WhatsApp chat as well. You want to have all of the paperwork in place and submitted and reviewed at least 10 days before closing. We've had agents that had stuff missing and the deal closed. After the deal closed, you try to get the seller to sign something after it closes. You try to get the buyer to sign something after it closes. You may have a closing that you will not be able to get paid on because you did not have all of the documents, and because it already closed and the seller and or the buyer are not willing to cooperate, you may have work for free. That's how serious it is. So if I got your attention, this is one of the most preventable issues out there because it just requires you to do what you're supposed to do. There are a lot of forms in our business. Our business is complicated. And that's why we have the training. That's why you have the support of your mentors. That's why you have the support of your team leaders and the state brokers so that it can all be done efficiently and effectively. I would like training to go over the condo addendum. See, that's the kind of training that's not what this is about. Okay. That is specific training that you can go get on your own. We don't have the time to get in the weeds on stuff. This is strategy stuff with some tactical, not the down and dirty forms and everything. The only forms that I even want to begin to talk about in these 4 sessions is the buyer broker agreement. That's the only one I want to talk about. The rest, there's all kind of training available for it. Okay, creating system blueprint. Yes, that's what these 4 sessions are about. Lead generation, absolutely. Getting started, guess what? You already did. And we're going to lay out the foundation based on the homework assignments of what you need to do. Understanding the actual procedures for closing, like where do I start when I want a client to sign a contract with me to be their agent? Well, some of that will be covered in these 4 weeks, meaning the buyer broker agreement, but everything else has been covered in ad nauseum as far as listing contracts and buyer contracts. We have all that. I have done videos on the buyer broker agreement. LPT has done on the buyer broker agreement. So you have that. Comfort in speaking without being nervous. Well, it takes practice. Believe it or not, I did not come out of the womb sounding like I do right now. Okay. In fact, I didn't even come out the right way. I came out backwards. That's to go to show you how difficult I am. So listen, we got to start somewhere. But here's the thing that just bothers the hell out of me in real estate about real estate agents. Agents don't practice. Agents don't role play. You're going to have a listing presentation for a $600,000 listing. You're going to go there and you're going to start to spit and cough and choke and everything because it's the first time you say it. And you had weeks and months to practice with another agent and you chose not to. So role playing, write that big and bold somewhere. Who can you role play with? We're going to talk about that in a little bit because you need to do a lot of role playing to get to the point that you sound like you actually know what you're talking about. All right. Nurturing leads, help with support. Again, this is all stuff that how to handle situation buyers and sellers when a deal is falling apart, how to work with difficult customers. Okay, let's take the second one first. How to work with difficult customers. Fire them before you ever let them hire you. There's people that you shouldn't work with. I see agents every day taking listings from psychos. You know, I see agents working with buyers that I'm surprised these buyers are not serial killers. They're so crazy. So agents get desperate. They'll work with anybody. No, there are signs. There are telltale signs. That's why you do a buyer presentation. That's why you do a listing presentation. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, in my opinion, I think this property should go for somewhere in the range of 650, maybe as much as 670. Oh no, that won't do. We need to net 720. Wow. Okay. Well, let me ask you something. What do you do for a living? Oh, I work at this company. I do accounting and everything. Let me ask something. Do they pay you what you need? Or do they pay you what they're willing to pay? Because a buyer is not going to pay you what you need to make or net. A buyer will only pay what they feel the property is worth. So it all starts with having the right conversation with people. How to handle situations, buyer and seller, when a deal is falling apart. You know why a lot of deals fall apart in real estate? Because the agent is using the wrong closing company. We have our own closing company in New World Title right here. Carolyn is absolutely one of the best at closings you're ever going to do. And you pick ABC Realty or something, a title company over there. Now, I get it. There's some situations where, like, say, Miami-Dade and Broward, you represent the seller, and Miami-Dade and Broward, the buyer picks and the buyer pays. I get it. But when you have the opportunity to select the title company, meaning to suggest to your customer that they pick the title company, and you don't do New World of Florida, our branch, that's insane. Because not only do you have an amazing title representative here, we also, on our dime, pay for a transaction coordinator to help you with your file. That's a $350 assistant that we pay for to help you from contract to closing. So you tell me, why would you be working with another title company when you have the ability to work with the best and provides that level of support? Okay. Okay. What am I supposed to do with this? What do you need the most? Not sure. Okay. Okay. So I guess we'll just start at the beginning. Okay. Feel more secure in real estate knowledge management, learning, marketing. Okay. We're going to go a long ways in that. AI, automation, social media. Questions, comments about, I thought it would be great to take those survey responses and turn it into a training at the same time. So did that benefit you? Are you learning anything? We're halfway through this first session. Talk to me. I'm going to pause to catch my breath. You talk to me now. Let's make believe this is a live audience and you ask me questions. Okay.
A lot of information learned.
It is.
You said.
It is. And this is why you'll get the recordings and you get to play it back. But I tell you what, guys, I love Zoom and I hate Zoom. I love the accessibility of Zoom. I hate the fact that I just talk to myself for 2 hours. And it's just like, either you know all this already, because if you don't have a single question, it scares me. And this is the best of both worlds when it's live and it's by Zoom, because you're sitting in your house, you're chilling, but you get to ask questions of me or whoever is speaking. So one more time before we move on, any questions, comments, concerns?
Yes.
Okay, so whoever's got that background noise, please turn that off.
The buyer presentation, that's me interviewing the buyer, correct?
Part of it.
Part of it? Okay.
They're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them.
Interviewing them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you ask qualifying questions. You want to know, so tell me, what are you looking for? What's your budget? Have you spoken with a lender? Are you getting financing? How much money down? All those kind of things.
Okay.
Nobody should ever be shown property that doesn't have you should at least be pre-approved. It's very it's unprofessional, even maybe downright unethical to bring someone to a house to show them a property that they may not even remotely qualify for just because they want to go house shopping. That's not what we do. Okay. Let me introduce
Tony,
you. Yeah.
sorry.
No,
Are
no, no.
you in the office if like tomorrow night I wanted to sit in there while you do this so you're not so lonely?
Thank you. No one's ever offered that before. You are a sweet, kind soul. Believe it or not, tomorrow I'm actually having to go to Orlando. I'll be doing this from my hotel room tomorrow. I have to go, and I go, well, I have to do the training. I just told Gabi, as long as I'm in front of my computer there. So aside from that, don't worry about it. I appreciate the offer, but just, just even have like questions like overnight, you might say, doggone, I should have asked Tony this. Write them down and everything else, because tomorrow when we kick off, it really will be a quick overview or review of what we talked about today. And then you can get the chance to go ahead and say, wait a minute, this went completely over my head. What did you mean by this? Make sense?
Yes.
Thanks, Anna. Okay. All right. So this is something that I started teaching. I believe that I've studied the characteristics of successful people. And I believe that they share the same characteristics. Many of them share the same characteristics. And it just so happens that so many of these characteristics begin with the letter P. And so then I started playing around with this. And if I started saying, what do I hope I can impress upon, in these short 8 hours I'm spending with this wonderful group of people? How do I put into perspective in a visual format what it is that I'm hoping that will be accomplished and what they should be striving for? And I call this the pyramid, the P principle pyramid. Man, that's a lot of P's. The first one, bottom level, is participation. See, to me, I've never, ever, as a team leader, I've had to let people go, for a couple different reasons. I haven't let many people go because of a lack of production. I have, but it wasn't solely on their lack of production. It's when their lack of production is coupled with a lack of participation. I've never, ever let somebody go that wasn't producing so long as they were participating. You feel me? So that's the part that really speaks volume to me. I know it could take somebody 2 years to get their first closing. That's not ideal, but it's happened and can happen. But you know what? They weren't lost in those 2 years. And one of the things that in the past we've always said, yeah, but why let them go? Let the fact that when the board dues come up, a lot of them let themselves go. It's just that we don't want to have a paper tiger for a team. I don't want to have 150 people on my team and only a small fraction producing. I'd rather have a 50-person team and all 50 of them produce. So to me, if you want to impress me, yeah, sales always gets my attention. But you know what else is right behind that? Participating, being at the trainings, the company events, the things that we host to get to know you better, for you guys to get to know each other better. That will always mean a lot to us, and you'll be part of the Xtreme team for a long time to come. Now, here's what I don't want to happen, and it has happened. I've had people that come to every training I do and never ever sell anything because they're too scared to talk to people. There is something that's called getting ready to get ready. They become addicted to training because just one more class, if I can just go to one more class, then I'll be ready. Doesn't work that way. At some point, you got to jump in the water, man. You can watch a YouTube video on swimming all day long, over and over again. At some point, you got to jump in the water. All right. So here's what I'm advocating. Since you're here, the next level is proficiency, to get better at what you're doing, right? See, the better you get at something, the less of that you have to do. Someone that really sucks at real estate is going to go through a ton of leads to get to X number of closings. Somebody that's proficient with a fraction of the leads can do that volume or more. So how do you get better? Well, obviously, we learn on the job, right? Every deal you do, you get better because you encounter new things. But how about before that? Role play. Role play. As many real world simulations as you can. You have to make the commitment to practice these rebuttals, these objection handlers, and these presentations to a human being. It could be your family, your kids. Say, you guys hungry? Yeah, ain't nobody eating until you finish my presentation. Okay? You're going to listen to my presentation, you're going to behave, and you're going to tell me how much I sucked. In other words, dare to suck. When you first start anything, you're going to suck. There's no way that my first ever CDPE class could even compare to my 13th, my 333rd one. I got better every time. Now, prospects is the name of the game. Where do you get prospects from? Leads. Where do you get leads from? We're going to talk about that. Guess what? There's a lot of ways to get leads inexpensively, but not everything is free. Some of it actually involves investing in your business. Have you ever heard of a business opening with no money, no reserves, nothing in the checking account, nothing in the savings account, access to no credit cards, and that business surviving? I see it every day. It's called real estate. I see agents joining this business every single day wanting to make $100,000 and not invest $5 into their business, much less 50 to 500. I don't have the money. Yes, you do. You do have the money. Because if you invited me to dinner at your house, I'm not saying you have to. That's not a suggestion or anything. Don't take it that way. Don't worry, Anna. I know you would, but don't do it. Chances are we say, hey, can we watch some TV? You probably would say, what do you want to watch? You want to watch Hulu, Paramount, Disney? You want to watch Netflix? You want to watch Amazon? You probably have about 4 or 5 subscription services minimum that if you add it all up, you're probably spending $200 a month on, unless you're pirating it. And if you are, I don't want to know. Okay. And I'm thinking, man, I wonder if you could survive with less. What if you cut that down half and you put $100 in your business? Do you know that if you had the Lofty website, I just talked about that 10 minutes ago, you actually through that website can pay to get ads on social media? It's already built in. It's really like click here, pay, go. That's simple, but you got to pay for it. So you got to find the money. Then if you're working the prospects properly, that's a lot of P's, you're going to get into production. You're going to start getting those contracts. And then you start making money. So here's what one of my goals is for these 4 weeks, or 4 sessions, I should say, that first and foremost, we are lead generating, but we are getting appointments. I need you guys to go from, I'm interested in maybe buying a house, to let's sit down and let's talk about your needs. We need to get to the appointment stage, because the appointments are going to, you only do appointments to determine whether these folks are prospects or not. And then we're going to show you how to take the prospects into production. Does anybody have any questions on this pyramid right here? So everybody starts here. We're all here. Some of you are already here. Some of you are really, really good at what you do. You're just not doing enough of it. So you don't have any prospects, or that many prospects. Or maybe some of you are like attracting them like flies, and you're not converting them. So they're not going under contract. In fact, they're not even going into the appointment stage. And then you get these contracts, and because you're trying to do it solo, they're falling apart and you're not getting to the profit stage. Any questions on that? Okay. We're going to briefly talk about mindset. Last time I did this, I went into a lot more, but I have to get into more concrete information, but I can't get into that information without dealing with at least a little bit of mindset. So let's talk about how whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. I think everybody at least once needs to read or listen to Think and Grow Rich. Everybody, that was done back in the 20s. I think it was in the 20s, late 20s, right after the Depression, early 30s, this book came out. And if you were to line up 500 super successful people and you say, what one book made a difference in their lives, aside from the Bible, it's going to be Think and Grow Rich. So maybe add that to your to-read list. Or you know what? Get audiobooks. I love audiobooks. They're awesome. Okay? But absolutely, a lot of agents bring so much mental baggage into this business that there's no way that even the best training can help them, because they don't feel that they deserve success. They try to sabotage themselves. They're surrounded by negativity. Let me tell you something. If you hang out with 4 broke people long enough, you're going to be the 5th. Who are you hanging out with right now? Are these people that are lifting you up or tearing you down? There's family members that don't want you to succeed, folks. Okay? The tongue has the power of life and death. For every person that you think is wishing you well, they're wishing your demise. I'm not being over dramatic. There's things we don't post on social media because I don't want the haters to even get a chance to curse me or mine. So don't think that everybody is cheering you on. There's folks that love you that don't want you to succeed because you might pull away from them. So be very careful. I'm preaching. I'm telling you something, man. I'm feeling it. I don't know if it's the Holy Spirit, but I'm feeling it. This is real stuff. This is real stuff. And the more you succeed, the more the haters are going to come out. But you're never even going to get there if you can't even visualize yourself being successful. If you can't even see yourself in the $1 Million Club, if you can't even envision yourself walking up that red carpet when we do our award ceremony and getting your certificate of your award, if you can't in your mind's eye see that, you won't be there. Your work ethic. You can't make $100,000 a year with a $15 per hour work ethic. Can I get an amen to that maybe? Write that in the chat. I want to make all this money, but I don't really want to work all that hard. Let me tell you something. My dad left a lasting impression with me, and that is his work ethic. And what I've always tried to do with my kids, and my kids are blessed that their parents, nobody outworks us. Nobody. I take that back. The guy on the roof working as a roofer on my neighbor's house, that guy works hard. The other day, we got in the car with my son who's in the business now, and I said, you see that, TJ? That's a worker right there. We don't work hard. Our business may be stressful. It could be disappointing. It can be complex. But that guy working in 100-degree weather, that's a worker. Be blessed that you don't have to do that for a living. But you got to put the time in. You got to put the time in. There's no shortcuts. You got to put the time in. So I'm hoping that this is impressing upon you that, yeah, we want to work smarter, but we do have to work harder too. Then after a while, you get to work even more smarter, and you can actually work fewer hours because you leverage yourself. Pray as though everything depended on God, and work as though everything depended on you. St. Augustine. I've had people say, you know what? I'm in prayer. I'm a man of faith. I believe in prayer. But I've yet to see a farmer plant seeds and just pray over them. And that's all they do. I think that you still got to plant the seed, and you got to water it, and you got to keep the weeds out. You got to do everything else. So if all you do is sitting back going, Lord, take the wheel. Where's the vehicle? So think about this as you work your business, okay? I hope some of this stuff is like, you ever been to church and you think the pastor is talking right at you when they're talking about stuff? You're like, why is he looking at me? It's almost, you can relate, like saying, yeah, the last few months, I haven't exactly been the most active or aggressive real estate agent. Yeah, we could all say that. Now, what is your why? Now, here's what I mean by why. Why do you have to succeed? Why is failure not an option? See, you're not going to make it in this business if you would like to be successful. You're going to make it because you ain't got no damn choice. You burn your ships. You did what Alexander the Great did in one of his campaigns. They landed on enemy shores, and what did he say? Burn the ships. And his soldiers would say, what are you doing? How are we going to get home? We got to go that way. We got to go through the enemy to get home. The problem with real estate agents is they don't have to succeed. They would like to, but their why isn't that strong. So keeping this short, I really don't want your life story, but keeping it short, either type it into the chat or in one sentence or less, unmute yourself and tell me why you have to succeed. Anthony goes, I used to work roofing.
Hey, Tony, I have to succeed because I'm the only breadwinner. So if I'm not making money, we're homeless.
There you go. That's a motivator, isn't it?
Man, that is the ultimate motivator. And I love what you said about prayer. Prayer without action is empty. It's zero.
Empty. Absolutely. Thank you, brother. Anybody else?
Yes. My why is I went through the course, went through everything. Why am I gaining something? It's like I have all of the resources at my disposal, and I have to make this work. I want to make this work, and that's my big reason why, because of the outer influence that I've seen. So I put myself in that situation. So this is why I want to make this work for me.
I got you, brother. And you corrected your initial mistake of joining the wrong company. Yeah, I just threw you under the bus, but you can handle it. You're a big boy. And then you saw what Maud was getting here, and you were smart enough
Mhm.
to say, you know what? I think I need to go join Xtreme. Are you happy so far?
Yes. Could I also want to let you know something else? When I made the switch, there was a negative feedback on my way out. A text. And he said, "Oh, you picked the wrong landing spot." I didn't respond back to that, but I laughed at that. I said, "Okay, we'll see."
We'll see. Yeah, the haters are there. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate it. All right, one more. Anybody?
So my why, all these years I've gone into teaching, as you know, that I'm ready to get out. I had to have that income and that dependency for pretty much everyone in my family, not only my own children. And now it's me time.
All right. I love it. I love it. So here's the deal. I need you to write down your why. It needs to be in your face. You need to see it every day. Look, I will bet you dollars to donuts right now that the answer some of you would give is my kids. My kids are my why. I need to be there for them. I can't stand that when there's a school event, I miss it. When they have a field trip, I can't go. I get it. I get it. I've been there. All right. So just keep in mind why you're doing it. I remember the first time that, because Gabby and I, when we first started, we were just pouring the hours in, and our kids were in elementary school at the time. And we even got a sofa at the office so that when we picked them up, they were there, did the homework, and then they fell asleep because we would be at the office till 8, 9 o'clock. So we put in a lot of time. And I remember the first time that we drove to Orlando, they didn't know where we were going. All of a sudden, they start seeing the announcements for Disney. And they start jumping up and I go, "Are we going to Disney? Are we going to Disney?" And you go, "Yeah." I go, "Remember all those hours, all the times that mommy and papi maybe were not necessarily available as you would like them to be? Yeah, those are the sacrifices we made so that we can do this." So we always ingrained in our kids that you don't get something for nothing. Okay. And you can have multiple whys, but why is important. Now, what do you want to accomplish? Now, here's where it starts to get into maybe some numbers. Okay. I want to accomplish freedom. Okay. I want to be working full time in the business. All right. I get it. You want to leave that lousy ass job you have and you want to go where. I get it. What do I want to accomplish? I want to build a team someday. What do I want to accomplish? I want to recruit this. What do I want to accomplish? I want to make $100,000. Okay. I get it. But you have to write down what it is you want. And then you need to write a date down by when you want to accomplish this. Okay. It just can't be, I really would like to make a lot of money. No, that's not good enough. It has to be definitive. What is the exact amount of money that you need to make? And by when do you need to make it? So if you need to make $100,000, then you need to put $100,000, and I need to make it by December 31st, 2026, or if you are potentially able to hit it this year, God bless you, but it needs to be definitive and it has to have a date to accomplish it. Now, if I were to say what comes next, a lot of you would have said how, and that's the wrong answer. The right answer is who, not how. If you knew how, you already be there. You need to know who can you align yourself with that can help you accomplish your goals. Okay, Michael Jordan arguably is the best player ever to step on a basketball court, and he did not win a single championship until they brought on Scottie Pippen. On his own, he could not win the championship. When they surrounded him with the right who's, the rest is history. Now, maybe I'm one of those who's. You chose to be here, to take the punishment, the ridicule, whatever I'm going to throw at you for whatever. All right, that's me. Okay. Troy is going to be an amazing asset. Man, Troy is on his way to being LPT. He'll be there when, bro, in about next month or so.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute, man.
That's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. By the end of September, 1st of October, I'm just cleaning up. I'm cleaning house.
What an asset. This man's amazing. My sponsor, David Kurz, amazing. amazing resource that's available to you guys. Now, here's what else I need you to do. I need you to pair up with somebody. I need you to find an accountability buddy, ideally from this group. It doesn't have to be from this group, but ideally from this group. Now, what is an accountability buddy? Someone that does exactly that. You're going to push each other to get to the next level. You're going to meet, whether virtually or in person, to do role playing. You're going to go knock on doors together, work open houses together. You're going to be that sounding board. When you think you want to quit and you don't know what else to do, that accountability buddy is going to keep you in. Okay, we need that extra help. So find somebody, and I don't care if you do it through the chat here or in the chat that we created on WhatsApp. Find a buddy, all right? And then discuss with that buddy, well, what exactly are we going to hold each other accountable for? You can't succeed without getting uncomfortable. All right. I'm going to make you do videos. Tony, I can never do a video. Oh, but you will, because if you don't do the video, I will kick you out of the coaching. That's your why now. But I suck. Okay. No, but I need to lose 20 pounds. We all do. You know, forget it. Stop it. Knock it off. No, I want the perfect equipment. You know, my crappy ass video is outperforming your perfectly executed, non-existent video. Get something out there. Yeah, making phone calls is going to make you uncomfortable. Good. Knocking on doors, uncomfortable. Good. Standing in front of a group. Good. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not trying hard enough. I take on new classes all the time and new courses all the time because I need that challenge. I need to get those juices flowing. I can do the CDPE blindfolded, sitting down, asleep. But that's not enough. I want to master 10 different designations that I can teach on a whim. What are you willing to sacrifice, to give up, to achieve the goals that you set? Here's what I have to do. And I'm going to be so transparent with you guys during these 4 sessions. You're thinking, man, this guy, like, did he really share that? I have 2 major weaknesses. You ready? I love watching TV. Why? It's my escape. I will watch hours of television in an evening. And I realized that what could I have accomplished in those 4 or 5 hours? Look, God bless you. I want to watch a movie every now and then, but 4 or 5 hours? I mean, come on, man. So that's something I have to do. I have to be willing to sacrifice being in front of the TV. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll trick myself. I'll have it on in the background and I'll deliberately put something on that I'm really not interested in watching, but I'm not alone and I'm working. The other thing is Gabi and I are night owls. It's okay if you're a night owl and you're using that time to work. If I were working from 8 p.m. to midnight and I want to get up the next morning at 9, I don't want to hear it. I was working when you were sleeping. But here's the thing. I'm staying up watching TV to noon, and then I'm sleeping until 8 or 8:30. It can't happen, man. It can't. So the 2 areas I have to work on, that I have to be willing to give up, is that entertainment, and sleeping. So we don't have the time to get into yours right now. You list what it is you have to give up. Maybe it's 1 less yoga class. Maybe it's 1 less lunch with the buddies. Maybe instead of partying every weekend, I only partied 3 out of 4 weekends or 2 out of 4. You got to give up something. Okay, something you have to go ahead and offer up. Keep in mind, your reasons become your excuses. We have reasons why we can't do certain things, but after a while, we've used those reasons up to the point where it's just an excuse now. So do that self-test, do that self-evaluation. Are you at the point that maybe your reasons are actually your excuses now? I'm going to hit you with something that 99% of you do not have an answer for. How many leads per day do you need to reach your goals? In other words, if you want to make $100,000, which is a nice round number, even with inflation, $100,000 ain't bad. 99% of you right now could not tell me how many sides you would have to close to make $100,000. So you basically don't know how to hit your goals because you don't even know what it's going to take. So I'm going to help you with that. I came up with something called the 100K formula 100 years ago. And I'm going to share it with you now. And then I'm going to send the blank version of this to you guys so that you guys can do it yourselves. Okay. This can be a little complicated, but I want to go over this because if I can really get this across, everything is math. Everything in the world can be broken down to math. And I know what you're saying right now. Hey, if I knew math was going to be part of this, I wouldn't have signed up. I get it. The only math that agents know is 6% of anything, or 3%, or 2.5%. Okay, but here it goes. $100,000. Is it fair to say that most of you guys would not turn a blind eye to 100 grand? Most of you would be okay with 100 grand. Okay, so let's use some variables. Average sale price, 400,000. I think that's a very conservative number. Now, there's folks here from South Carolina. There's folks here from Texas. Folks here from North Carolina. I wanted to use something conservative. In Broward County, where our office is, the median price now is about 700,000. So it's amazing why I even still have $1 million club. When you can do one deal, both sides, and you're in the $1 million club. Then, so find a number that represents your market. And that's going to be the variable that you plug into average sale price. Because if I used $1 million, I would just do the numbers real quick. I just got to do one deal. Okay. Average commission that your side will make. 2.5, I think. It could be anything. 2.5, I think, is a number that works based on what I'm seeing come through. And then there's your split. There's your split with the team. Now, some of you are at 80. I can't speak for some of you because you're not on my team. But I had to put something down. So I put down 90 because within the Xtreme team, most of you are at 90, or after your first 1 or 2 or 3 closings, you can get to 90. So those are your variables. So when I send you the blank sheet, you got to create these variables. Now, step 1, your goal is 100,000 divided by what you would make on a deal. So let's say it's a deal that the amount of commission is, would net you $9,000, say on average. Okay. So how many deals would you have to do? Again, this number is irrelevant. If you're saying, Tony, my average price is 14,000, we would make, or Tony, in our area, man, if we make 7,000 on a commission or 6,000, we're lucky. 9,000 is a number that's easily achievable per transaction. That means 100,000 divided by 9,000 equals 11 closings. But it's not true. It's 11 sides. In this world we call real estate, if you list and sell the same property, you get paid as much as double. And it counts as 2 sides. So when you're a listing agent and you get the buyer and it's a $500,000 deal, your production is now $1 million. You feel me? A lot of you new ones don't know that. So let's say it wasn't anything double-sided. You're working strictly with buyers. You would have to close 11 transactions to make $100,000. Wait a minute. It's not really close. Yeah, it is close. But if you initiated 11 transactions and you closed 11 transactions, you know how blessed you are? that nothing fell out. Nobody at the inspection said, the hell with this, I ain't buying this house. No one's credit got tanked. No one's, didn't qualify. That's not the real world. So in the real world, you might have a 30% drop-off rate, fallout rate. Now, as you get better and you surround yourself with the right people, the right title company, the right lender, this number can come way down. What is a worst case scenario? Say 30%. Well, that means to close 11, I have to open 18 files. I have to submit 18. I have to start 18. And you know what? Maybe the stars are with me and I close all 18, or maybe I have a 30% drop-off rate and I close 11, but I still make 100,000. Now, how many prospects would I have to be working with to close 18? Now, if you say 18, you say, well, then you should be teaching this class, because that's not how it works. But let's say it's only 50%. And that number should be higher, and I'll tell you why. By the time they get to prospect stage, I don't mean lead. A lead sucks. A lead can become a prospect. A lead goes by, I want to buy, to I can afford to buy, and I want to buy now. So let's say you had to work with 36 good prospects to convert 50% of them. Okay. Now, what is it going to take for me to get 36 solid prospects? Remember, leads are what becomes prospect. When somebody sends you an email through Zillow, that ain't a prospect. That's a lead. And you know what? If all you did was internet advertising, internet leads, it could be as low as a 2.5% conversion rate. So do the math. To have 36 strong prospects, you may have to start with over 1,400 leads. Can you imagine that? Now, when you look at that number, you think, impossible. It can't be done. Well, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Let's take step 5. Take those 1,440 and divide it by the number of months you're going to work. Now, I'm a big believer in taking 2 weeks off during the summer, up to 2 weeks off in the summer, the last 2 weeks of December. Okay? Unfortunately, agents take all of November, all of December, and most of January off. It used to be the holiday was after Thanksgiving. Now it's after Halloween. Okay? So you're going to work 11 months. Let's say I'm going to put in 11 months. So 1,440 divided by 11 is 131 leads per month. How many days a week are you going to work? Well, let me tell you something. You want to make 100 grand, you better work at least 6 days a week. I don't mean 6 8-hour days, but you got to be in the business doing something on average 6 days. Sunday, faith and family. Saturday is our day. You know how many times I've gotten on our company chat and said, it's Saturday, roll call, who's working real estate today? And you'll see a little bit of people respond. I'm at the soccer game. I'm at the volleyball game. God bless you. You're a great parent. You're just going to suck as a real estate agent because you're not going to have any time to work the business. I'm sorry. I've given up a lot so that my kids can have a lot now. That's how it works. So 131 divided by 24 days I'm working is 5.5 leads per day. Not impossible, but difficult. Not impossible, but when you combine several different marketing strategies that we'll be talking about, it's not impossible. Now, let me give you a better look at this. The second page is for an agent that's a tad more proficient. See, this, using the same numbers, we only have a 20% fallout rate versus a 30%. Remember, you're getting better. You're surrounding yourself with the right team. You got a transaction coordinator, a strong title company, a strong lender. So I have to initiate 13 versus 18. I'm going to be converting more because I know what to say and how to say it and when to say it, and I'm saying it to enough people. So instead of converting 50%, I convert 60. Imagine if you convert 70 or 80, but say with 60, that means 22 prospects per year. Now my conversion rate is double because I'm not relying on only internet leads. I have knocking on doors, I'm prospecting, I'm calling FSBOs, I'm calling expireds, I'm doing webinars and seminars. I actually have my conversion rate up to as much as 5% now. To do 22, I only need 440 leads versus 1,440 leads. Look at the difference that made. I'm working the same number of months, the same number of days, but now I'm down to under 2 leads per day. Super doable. Now, Troy, you've been in the business a while, brother. You've been teaching for a while. Have you ever seen anybody break it down like this before?
I have. I think you've presented it 100% better than I've seen it in the past.
God bless you. You didn't have to say that, but I'll send you some money on the side, brother. Thank you. Not really. Maybe. By the way, Troy's coming into town. Dude, I scheduled a CDPE class on the day you're going to be here because I want you to take the CDPE class here with me, brother.
I'm in. Yeah, I'll do it.
On September 10th.
I'll bring my wife.
Oh, you got it. All right, folks. Any questions on that? See, now you know. What activities do I have to put in place? What strategies do I have to implement that can generate 2 per day? Now, folks, please, 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 your goal may not be 100,000. Your goal might be 25,000, might be 30. Remember, your definition of success is different from, or maybe different than mine. Your goal may be 200,000 or 250. That's why I'm sending you a blank one. And you do your own numbers. You do you. But you're going to be miles ahead of the typical real estate agent that doesn't even know how many sides they have to close to hit their goal. Time blocking. We all know time blocking. I can prove it to you. If you have kids that went to school or are going to school right now, you know what time blocking is all about. Okay. In fact, my wife and I are watching a movie yesterday, Marry Me, with J-Lo. And the guy, what's that guy's name? Luke something or other. And he's a teacher. And the person goes, "Don't you use a calendar?" He goes, "I know every day where I'm at, Monday through Friday from 8 to 3. Okay. If you have kids that went to school or going to school right now, you have time blocking. You know that you got to wake up every morning at 6, 5:30, 6:30. It's get them up, get them fed, get them dressed, make the lunches, get them to the bus stop, get them to school and everything else. So if a friend that's visiting in town out of nowhere says, "Hey, can we get together for coffee tomorrow at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m.?" Your answer is automatically, "No, I can't. I'm taking my kids to school." The problem is that we don't time block for real estate. See, prospecting is the lifeblood of real estate success. Write that down. Prospecting is the lifeblood of real estate success. But the typical agent, they treat prospecting as something they do occasionally. Prospecting has to be intentional, not occasional, intentional. If you time block to go to the gym 3 days a week. Why can't you time block your real estate the same way? You got to set apart that time. I don't care if it's 1 hour a day or 7. I have people that are available full-time in real estate and are twirling their thumbs all day long. You need to time block. And you need to be religious about it. You need to be obsessive about it and protective about it from other influences, including your own. You first have to know, where are you spending your time? So I'm going to send you this sheet. And then for a few days, log what it is that you're doing, so that you may, when you go, I don't know where the time goes. Well, maybe if you wrote it down, you say, I spent that much time doing that. So you got to have a calendar. Now, if you're old school, I'm both old school and new school. Yes, I use my Google Calendar, but I also have to have a physical one in front of me that shows me the whole week or the whole month. But you have to plan Sundays or Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evenings. You lay out your week. You lay out your week, but you should have a very, very firm schedule that you use for real estate, whether it's attending a training. Now, something I'm going to jump to, I just thought about this, write this down. There's working in your business and there's working on your business. Working in your business is when you're doing training, you're doing paperwork, you're doing administrative stuff, the stuff that doesn't make you money. Working on your business is prospecting, marketing, lead generation. So here's what you write down. If you spend too much time working in your business versus on your business, you may be out of business. So when you lay out, when you itemize what it is you do, look back and how much of that time was spent on your business. There was a speaker that way back in the 90s started marketing little plastic stopwatches that you would wear around your neck. And he said, every time you're prospecting, hit the stopwatch. And then when you stop, he goes, do that throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, see how much time you spent prospecting. You may be shocked at how little time you spent on your business. What we're going to achieve, what I hope and pray we're going to achieve as a result of this. See, I don't want you guys, I know some of you maybe are getting fired up, maybe you're getting excited, maybe you're whatever, but you know what? We got to see something concrete come from this, right? I want to see numbers. I want to see actual appointments, actual buyer broker agreements, actual offers, because that's the only way you're going to make money, right? So you have to feed the beast. That's what I call lead generation. You have to feed that beast every damn day, or it will devour you. If you had a dragon as a pet, you better feed it, or it's going to eat you. So lead generation, intentional, daily. You become so good at converting leads into prospects. And then the magic happens. You get appointments. Show me an agent that gets appointments, and I'll show you an agent that's making money. You convert the appointments to contracts. In fact, you need to actually track all this. How many leads do you have to work with to get an appointment? How many appointments you convert to a contract? How many contracts actually close? When you get it down to a formula, then you just need to do more of that. Remember, feed the beast. Convert leads to prospects. Now, hold on. A lot of leads require a lot of nurturing for weeks, months, if not years. The best guy we have in the company for nurturing leads is Robert Cackett. Robert never, ever loses sight of someone. He might close someone 3 or 4 years after the initial contact with them because he religiously uses a CRM. Just because they're not buying now doesn't mean they're not going to buy in 3 months, 6 months, or a year or two. You got to nurture them. Here's one lead generation strategy I want to share with you because everyone can do it. It doesn't require a lot of gumption or nerve. Let me give you an example of gumption or nerve. Hey guys, I want you to get the expired list out and start calling expireds. Hey guys, I want you to call for sale by owners. That may be a lot to ask of you right out of the gate. But I can expect you to do what I'm about to show you, which is what I call warm calls. These warm calls are to your sphere of influence. See, everybody knows somebody. You work with them or work with them. You go to school with them or you went to school with them. Okay. You are soccer moms together, you're basketball dads together. You go to the same clubs, you go to the same church or the house of worship, you name it. These are people that when you call and you say, hey, Tony, what's up, man? That's what I want you to do. So everyone has that. And let me tell you what you all have available. You guys have a device at your disposal that's so powerful that the computers that we use to first go into space do not equal the computing power of these phones that we have right now, to put it in perspective. And if you went into your contacts right now, in fact, if you have your phone handy, go into your contacts right now. And how many contacts do you have? I think I have like 2,000 plus contacts there. Okay, so you have people you can call. Now, here's the thing. What do you say? Hit me. No, that's not what I want you to say. I have a script for you. I didn't create this script. Remember, there's nothing new in real estate. It's just old ideas being regurgitated. This is called the contest or challenge script. Here's what you do. And here's why you need an accountability buddy. Because you have to practice. Now, I don't mean practice for days. I mean practice for a few minutes because it's a simple script. Ready? Let me set the stage. You're calling somebody with a sense of urgency. You're calling somebody because you need a favor. You're calling somebody and you right out of the gate, you let them know that you don't have a lot of time, but you need a favor. So if I were to call Troy right now and say, hey, Troy, hey, man, it's Tony. You got a minute? Yeah, listen, bro, I don't have a lot of time, but I need a favor. You know that I'm in the real estate business, right? Now, my broker just issued a challenge. So you're going to call these people and say that your team leader, you're participating in a coaching program, and your team leader just threw a challenge your way. Okay? I need to generate at least blank number of prospects in the next blank number of days. And I'm calling you, man, because I know you know a lot of people. And brother, I need your help. Okay? Who do you know that might be interested in buying, selling, investing, or renting? And pause for a second. Now, you may have caught them completely off guard and they say, can't think of anybody right now. I go, look, I get it. I know I caught you. I'm blindsiding you now, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to remember this conversation because I bet you dollars to donuts that in the very near future, you're going to listen to a conversation. You're going to overhear someone's going to ask you. And I want you to let them know that I exist. Okay. Now, here's what, when I do this in a live in-person
Yeah, I just let him know he's froze for some reason. Give us a couple minutes or a couple seconds. He must have lost connection. He'll be back on. Give him a second. I already reached out to him. Let's see what happens. He's still having some issues. I told him I would do a song and dance for you guys, but he told me absolutely not. So we'll just have to sit tight.
Well, without having your camera on, for all we know, you are doing a song and dance right now. So we'll just keep rocking with you.
You're right. You're right. We're right here.
I don't
Meanwhile,
even
I'm
know.
eating dinner.
I don't even know it's going to stay up or not. So, you know, you suppose, I don't know. Is the weather bad or something? Because I don't know what's happening. Internet here. So let me see if I can get back to. Is this still recording? Let's see. Here. All right, so it's still recording. Okay, so last time I left off, okay, so you say, all right, you keep me in mind, but we have had so many scenarios where the agent comes running in the front and they put a lead down. In fact, Shawla, who's one of our top agents now, she did rentals almost exclusively until we did this exercise during a class one time. And somebody that she called bought a house from her and or sold a house. And it was her very first non-rental transaction. So, and she's never looked back since then. So I've seen it work. Okay. So this is something you got to do, right? You make it urgent because they may say, man, we haven't talked in a while, man. Let's get caught up. I go, look, I love to, but now's not the time because I only have a minute. And then you burn through these calls, right? You burn through these calls. Some people will start with their family because they know them. Other people will start with the letter A and they work their way up. But you got to do this and you got to do it right away. And this is one of the assignments that you have to do. The other thing that you could do is ask them to go ahead and let you tag them on some of your social media posts that you're doing. Never tag somebody without permission. But if you have some friends that are very well known in social media or they have a lot of followers, say, look, I'm not going to overdo it. I'm not going to abuse it, but I would appreciate it if you let me tag you every now and then. So here's the way social media works that you understand. There's 3 levels on social media. When you like somebody's post, and that's why some people are really having a hard time coping. I think almost everybody, including myself, has posted something on social media and you start checking it every 5 seconds to see if anybody's liked your post. Okay. And if they don't like your post, you feel like a loser. That's why you got social media envy. That's why a lot of kids are having the struggles that they're having with right now, teenagers, because of that. So the first way that you get affirmation and people, they like you is if they like or love your post. There's a level above that. The level above that is to actually write a comment in there. Do you know that you can grow your friends list overnight by commenting more? Because then their friends are seeing your comment. And I think more often than not, people are just lazy. They're just clicking the like button, like, and they don't actually comment. The highest level of appreciation that you can bestow on somebody is to share their post. When somebody shares your post, they like you. So in other words, if it's your birthday and your mom or your brother or your sister, the only way you hear from them is they post something on social media, they don't really love you anymore. Okay, because there was a time when you got phone calls on your birthday. Remember the days when somebody would call you on your birthday? It was lined up all the calls, and then the calls gave way to texts, and then text gave way to social media. When you're at the point where your best friends, all they do is say happy birthday about social media, then you need some new friends. Okay, so this challenge you have to do. You have to do it. Now, here's the thing. You really don't have to do it because I'm not the boss of you. You're independent contractors. You could take everything you're learning here and say, oh, hell no, I ain't doing that. I don't care. It's not going to affect my income. I'm going to be successful whether you're successful or not. Because that's just the way it is. Okay. I want you to be successful, not for me, because of you. I'm already blessed. I'm there. I want you to get there. Okay, so this contest challenge script will prepare you for the tougher phone calls. Which are the tougher ones? For sale by owners. Which are the tougher ones? Expireds. Calling people that are losing their homes. Okay, the foreclosure. This will warm you up. If you can't even call a family member with this, look, just take your license right now and move it to the referral company. Let's just save everybody a lot of time and grief and everything, and just take your license and move it to the referral company. Because if you can't even call a friend or a family member with something like this, you don't belong in real estate. That's simple. Get out now, leave more deals for the rest of us. I'm sorry, I gotta tell it like it is. Next, I'm gonna share this sheet with you. Now, what I mean by sharing is I'm gonna post it in the WhatsApp group. I ain't emailing nobody. Okay, I'm going to make you go to that chat. I may share one tonight. I may not. I may share one 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then I'll share another one later. I'm going to keep you guessing, because here's what I need from you. I need you to use that chat multi-directional. It's not about me just throwing stuff at you. I need you to share your successes with the group, because that keeps us all going. I got an appointment. I got a listing. I got a buyer broker agreement signed. But I need you to track what you're doing. See, this page doesn't lie, man. It doesn't lie. If you have this sheet in front of you and a whole week goes by and all you drew on here were little stick figures, you're not doing the business. You need multiple copies of this. And you just need to go at it and fill it out and make it happen. So here is your homework. Ready? Do the 100% formula. Now, if you say, when do you expect this done by? I don't know. What time is it? You tell me. You know, again, this is a different coaching program in that tomorrow is the next session, but I got to believe within the next week, at the latest, you get this done. You need to know how many deals you have to do. You got to track your daily activities to see where you're spending your time. And that includes time blocking. Start looking at your calendar and time block your real estate. Select an accountability buddy. You know, you may be able to cross that off your list today. Write down the 5 goals that you want to accomplish by the end of this year. List 5 things, maybe 3 things, 4 things, I don't know, maybe no more. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice? You know, is it TV like me? Is it not sleeping as many hours like me? You need to be true to yourself. Post at least 1 real estate related video between now and next week. And that's why I wanted all of you that hadn't yet friended me on Facebook to friend me, because you need to tag me. See, when you tag me, I know you did it. And if you don't do it, we're going to have a conversation. I may kick you out, I may not. Depends what kind of mood I'm in. But who are you hurting if you don't do this? Me? I'm good. Now, what can be a post? Well, I just shared one with you. I'm going to share 2 different ones with you, right? Let's say you're doing it live and in person like this. You guys all know that you can do it, right? You can go live on Facebook. I wouldn't recommend it. I would probably do a recording until you get good at it. Maybe your first recording sucks and the second one sucks, the third one sucks. That's okay. But let me just do something off the cuff, right? 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, Tony Martinez, your local real estate professional, and I need your help. Yeah, I see my team leader just issued a challenge. He said that I need to get 7 new prospects, leads, customers within the next week. 7. Well, you know me, I'm competitive. So I need your help. And this is how you can help me. Who do you know that may be wanting to buy, sell, invest, rent? If you know anybody like that, if this is you, I need you to reach out to me. I need you to give them my information. You'll be doing me a solid. And remember, for all your real estate needs, I'm your guy. Thanks. God bless. That's one right there. That's your post right there. Okay. Okay. Quick writing on my screen. Okay. Next. Hey everyone, Tony Martinez here, and today's message goes out to anybody that might be having difficulty making their mortgage payments. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you know, but more and more people are finding it very difficult to make ends meet. And the reason why I'm posting this is because as a certified distressed property expert, I have a passion for helping folks that are in situations like this. So if this is you or if it's someone you know, reach out to me, give them my information. And remember the following: foreclosure is not the only option. God bless you. For all your real estate needs, talk to me. That's it. That's all you got to do. At the very minimum, between now and next week, at least 25 people, 5 per day. I've had people come to me during the class and said, that was phenomenal. I wish that we could do that every day. I go, you can. Just because you're not in class doesn't mean you can't do it. Part of your time blocking may be exactly that. If you only had an hour to devote to the business, and all you did was call warm leads on your list, you might be shocked at the amount of business you can create. Are you guys hearing me okay? Okay, so Carol, that's on you, okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so I know I hit you with a lot. Listen, I apologize for the technical difficulties. It's been a while since it happened, but it happened. What do you think so far, just from session 1?
You have your own church that you go to on Sundays that you preach at.
I don't preach yet. Believe it or not, over the weekend, I was at an event and I was asked to pray. And people came up after me afterward and said, are you a pastor? I go, no. You know, they say you should be. I go, oh, don't put that on.
That's my whole thoughts listening to you.
I preach it, sister. Yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, maybe you and I can have a separate conversation on that. But it just so happens that as the owner of the CDP designation, the Certified Distressed Property Expert, yeah, we do have a class for you. And here's the advantage you guys have. You know, whenever I teach a CDP class, I always have people coming up after me and say, hey, are you going to be available to help me if I have a question? I go, oh, no, I'm not. I got 2,000 members, 1,500, I don't know, you know, but my agents, my team has me because I'm your team leader. So you have the advantage of not only having your team leader, who is the foremost authority on distressed properties in the nation, on short sales, but also available to help you with your questions. So yeah, if you, you know, the next live class that we're doing is September 10th. I'll post it tomorrow. And that's going to be right here in our studio. And for Florida folks, we got the class approved for 8 hours of CE. So that's an extra bonus. And my CDPs, my Xtreme agents get it for $199, which is a $300 discount. All right. Anything else? What do you think? You think we set you up to succeed, or we set you up to fail over these next 2 weeks? What do you think?
Set up for succeed. You just got to do it.
Yeah. We laid a foundation. Now you just got to do it. Okay. All right. So there's not a lot of time between now and tomorrow, and I get it. It's 8:16. But you know what? How amazing would it be if you looked at it and said, hey, it's not too late to call my sister. Hey, it's not too late to call my cousin. Hey, it's not too late to call my best friend. And do it now. Do it now. One last favor before we check out. For all of you that are Xtreme by LPT, I want you to post something that lets everybody else know what they're missing. Because sometimes it's that scarcity thing that needs to wake people up. We have so much noise out there, so much clutter. There may be people that said, you know what, I want to do the class, and they just forgot. I want them to know what they're missing so that the next time I'm motivated to do this, we'll open it up to even more people. I would love to do this every 2 months, every 3 months, maybe sooner, and just get all these guys, all these folks out there producing more. All right, enough. I'll see you in less than 24 hours. We'll be right back at it. And again, use the chat. You can post questions in there. I may answer them. Troy may answer them. Somebody else with experience may answer them. But make it interactive. You're only going to get out what you put into it. God bless all of you folks. I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.